Welcome to the Director's Corner podcast, the definitive resource for forward-thinking professionals in end-of-life care industries. If you're looking to really shake up your digital marketing and connect with families in a way that really matters, well, you're in the right place. We're not just talking about the same old strategies. We're diving deep into creating authoritative content that builds genuine engagement and trust, which is what sets you apart in today's digital landscape. Today, we are talking about elevating pet aftercare, moving beyond a transactional approach. And we know for everyone listening who works in veterinary medicine or pet care, dealing with pet loss, it's just an incredibly delicate time for the families you serve.
It really is. That bond is so strong, and navigating what comes next, well, it needs real sensitivity.
This piece really hits on a core challenge, doesn't it? That tendency sometimes to treat pet aftercare as, a basic transaction, almost like a line item with a price.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that very transactional view can actually sometimes make things harder for grieving families.
Right, and maybe it doesn't fully capture the value of the support that's being provided.
Exactly.
The piece points out a few key issues with thinking that way. One thing that really jumped out was limited transparency. When pet parents aren't totally clear on the process, what happens next? It can create uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even deepen their grief or foster a bit of mistrust.
That's such a key point. When people are that vulnerable, any lack of clarity feels unsettling. It can feel like losing even more control when they're already dealing with loss.
And another thing it raises is having limited service choices. Often it's presented as these standardized packages.
Yeah. One size fits all almost.
Which might not really fit what an individual family actually needs or wants.
And if you think about how much we personalize other aspects of pet care, their food, their treatments, enrichment,
Good point.
it makes you wonder why aftercare would be different. Every pet, every relationship, it's unique.
Which ties right into the issue of price-driven decisions. If it's seen purely as a transaction.
Then cost becomes the main factor.
Exactly. But the thinking here is that this focus on price might unintentionally compromise the actual level of care and support those families really need at that moment.
It does make you pause and think about what's truly being valued. If it's just the price tag, are we properly acknowledging that deep emotional connection, the significance of that loss?
So ultimately, the argument is that this transactional model can fall short. It might not fully serve pet parents who are really looking for more support, more compassion, more individual attention as they say goodbye.
So the shift then is moving away from just functional service delivery
Right.
towards intentionally creating a truly meaningful experience for them.
Precisely. And it zeroes in on three core areas to achieve that: personalization, transparency, and continuity of care.
Okay, let's start with personalization. It's quite powerful, isn't it? Moving beyond those standard options to really honor the specific pet and that unique family bond.
It is. Instead of maybe just one cremation option, it talks about offering a whole range of memorial choices.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, different styles of urns, maybe memorial jewelry they can wear, or other keepsakes that feel personal to them.
That makes sense. When you think about how we customize so much else in their lives, extending that to how we remember them feels appropriate. It feels right.
And it also brings up the idea, where it's feasible and the family wants it, of involving them more directly.
How so?
Giving them the option, perhaps, to witness a cremation or even be involved in the gentle preparation or care of their pet's body.
For some families, that kind of involvement could be really important for their healing process. It offers a sense of closure, maybe, being present.
If that's what feels right for them, yeah. And it goes beyond just physical options, too, suggesting we could help create unique tributes. Like personalized memorial services, maybe something small, that really celebrates that specific pet's life and their connection to the family.
That really prompts the question for practices, doesn't it? How can we make these tailored options more visible, ensure families even know they exist, presenting a spectrum rather than just A, B, or C?
Because really, offering personalization is about responding to their specific needs, their preferences. It shows genuine respect for their individual grief.
Okay, so that's personalization. Now, what about transparency? It's really interesting how clarity, just being open through the whole aftercare journey, can build so much trust.
Absolutely. When someone's grieving, any kind of uncertainty can just magnify their anxiety, can it?
Definitely.
So providing clear, step-by-step explanations of the whole aftercare process, what actually happens after their pet leaves their side, that can make a huge positive difference.
And if you think about it, in any service context, clear communication, managing expectations, It's fundamental.
Mhm.
It becomes even more critical when emotions are running so high.
The piece also mentions offering families the choice, if they want it, to witness certain stages.
Right. Not for everyone, perhaps.
No, definitely not for everyone, but just having that possibility available can offer real reassurance and peace of mind for those who do need it.
That element of choice, that feeling of having some control, it can be so valuable when everything else feels out of control, just knowing options exist.
Yes. And simply maintaining open communication about the practical stuff too. Costs, timelines, any potential hiccups or concerns. This is just so vital for building trust and easing anxieties.
Transparency really boils down to treating pet parents with respect, doesn't it? Keeping them fully informed. It shows we value their emotional well-being during a really tough time.
Okay, so then there's a third element, continuity of care. This really drives home that our support shouldn't just stop once the, say, cremation is done. Grief keeps going.
It's an interesting idea to think about being more proactive there, maybe offering resources or support even before euthanasia happens.
Helping families prepare emotionally, make decisions ahead of time.
Exactly.
That kind of pre-loss support could be incredibly valuable. Just knowing what to expect, what choices are available. They can reduce a lot of stress when the moment actually arrives.
hmm And then, naturally, ensuring a peaceful, supportive environment during the goodbye itself, providing comfort, options for how they spend those last moments.
Whether that's offering a quiet, private room, allowing plenty of time, or just being a compassionate presence, those seemingly small things can mean the world.
Absolutely. And then extending support after the immediate service,
Right.
offering grief resources, maybe info on local support groups, or even just a simple follow-up call or note to check in.
It's that recognition that their grief journey doesn't end when they leave the clinic or the aftercare facility. Providing ongoing resources shows a real commitment to their long-term well-being.
So continuity of care really frames this whole thing as part of a bigger journey where support and guidance can be offered all along the way.
Beyond those three main pillars, the article also touches on creating meaningful experiences through more. Let's call them thoughtful considerations, the extra touches.
It's amazing how small gestures can have such a big impact sometimes, like providing serene, comfortable spaces for goodbyes.
Yes, instead of a cold clinical feeling, having a warm, peaceful setting can make an incredibly difficult moment feel
Yeah.
maybe a little less traumatic.
Or offering little memorial activities, maybe providing nice paper for them to write a final note.
hmm Or offering personalized keepsakes they can take right then, or even helping facilitate something like planting a memorial tree later on.
Those tangible actions can be really helpful in processing grief, giving families a way to actively remember and honor their pet.
Even small rituals, perhaps. A moment of silence, lighting a candle, things that create a sense of closure or offer a bit of comfort.
And again, it loops back to ongoing support, making sure families know about grief resources, support groups, maybe even community memorial events if those exist. These kinds of thoughtful considerations really signal that you see this as much more than a transaction. You see it as a chance to offer genuine care when they need it most.
And ultimately, by putting empathy and this kind of focused care first, pet aftercare providers can really differentiate themselves. It's about offering something more profound.
When you zoom out, focusing on these emotional needs,
Yeah,
it actually builds stronger relationships with pet parents, doesn't it? It can foster real loyalty over the long term.
it has to.
Mm.
When you show you genuinely understand and support them through such a painful time, you build a much deeper connection than someone just competing on price.
And that higher level of value, the compassionate, thoughtful approach that's going to stand out compared to competitors focused only on the basics or cutting costs.
So it really comes down to a fundamental shift in thinking, moving beyond just the logistics,
Right, the mechanics of it.
and instead prioritizing valued support.
It's about truly acknowledging the huge emotional weight this carries for pet parents. It's not just about handling remains, it's about honoring a family member.
And by actively looking for ways to personalize, to enhance, to fully support their experience,
Yeah.
you're not just a service provider anymore.
No, you become a valued source of support for them through that whole difficult process.
It's about becoming that trusted partner in their grief journey through genuine care, empathy, and those meaningful interactions.
Of it.
So as we wrap this up, it feels clear that moving beyond that purely transactional approach in pet aftercare, it's not just better for grieving families, it elevates the entire standard of care.
By By focusing on personalization, transparency, and that continuity of care, professionals can craft experiences that are truly supportive and hopefully deeply meaningful for the families they serve.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Consider just one small way you might bring a bit more personalization or transparency into your own aftercare process this week. It really could make a significant difference for a family navigating loss.
Subscribe and like the Director's Corner podcast on your favorite platform to stay ahead of the curve. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode packed with actionable insights and innovative strategies designed specifically for your industry. Liking and sharing helps us reach more professionals like you, fostering a community dedicated to excellence in end-of-life care marketing. Let's transform how we connect with families together.